Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2023 April Stockfel Academy webinar, where we are talking about Stockfels awakening their entrepreneurial spirit. We are so excited that you all registered and have decided to spend this hour with us. We hope that it will be an hour where you will gain a lot of insight on the power of Stokvels helping you achieve your entrepreneurial dreams. My name is Sweliles Kenjana and I am your MC for the evening. I trust all of you can hear me and see me well. Yes, thank you. We apologize for the slight delay. I'm just waiting for our Stokvel guru to come online, as well as our guest speaker as well, for me to get the heads up that their video's up and running and all is well. Fantastic. There we go. We've got you, Mama Klatsi, on screen. Awesome. I think we're good to go. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are so excited to have you join us for the Stockfel Academy April 2023 webinar, where we are awakening the Stockfels entrepreneurial spirit. That's what we are all about today. We're excited that you've taken this time out to be with us, and we hope you will indeed learn and glean a lot to empower yourselves on your Stockfel journey. I have a couple of announcements that I'd like to make before we start, is that we have two amazing books up for grabs. This is the Young Entrepreneur's Playbook by Lindile Koko. That are up for grabs. At the end of our webinar, I will let you know what it is you need to do in order to win those. However, as well, we would love to encourage you that should you have any questions during the course of the webinar, please feel free to type them out in the chat box, and we will then ask those questions as well towards the end of the webinar to our Stockfel guru and our guest speaker. And should we not get to your questions during the webinar, we will respond to your questions via email. Thank you so much for that. And yes, I hope you guys are excited as I am. I would love to take a moment to introduce our amazing founder and Stockfel guru, Mambusi Kenjana, who started Stockfel Academy back in 2018 with the whole idea and the vision of helping Stockfels grow their wealth for generational wealth, and make sure that it doesn't just end with the members of the Stockfels, but it goes on for generation to generation. And I would love to hand over to her right now so that she can briefly introduce us to what the topic is about for the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam C. Am I audible? Hi, everyone.
100% audible.
Thank you very much, and I would like to welcome everyone, and thank you very much for your precious time. I know it's dinner time. We should all be sitting, waiting for the lights to go off before we have our dinner, but we're not going to have any load shedding tonight, I promise you. So thank you for joining us. My name is Ubusi Kenjana, the founder of the Stockfel Academy. My passion and love is the development of Stockfels in South Africa. There's so much that we can talk about, but today, because of time is limited, we chose to look into Stockfels as entrepreneurs. What role can Stockfels play as business owners? We all know that it is said there's about 55 billion rands that circulates within the Stockfel economy or ecosystem. The big question is, are Stockfels playing, an active economic role? you know, despite that there's so much money that circulates. And the other big question is, are Stokvels just stuck in being just social groups or burial clubs? Yes, unfortunately, death is a reality. We need to make plans to bury our beloved. But are we just stuck in terms of being just social groups or burial clubs? And my question tonight is, who is actually getting richer with this money that we are saving as Stokvels? Actually, I'm beginning not even to like the word save, because the more we save, the lesser we're going to become wealthier. We need to start thinking investment. Who is getting richer? Who is getting poorer? Of course, the banks are getting richer because that money is sitting, is parked within the banking system without us actually running any businesses for ourselves. So this is the beginning of the journey where we're gonna, it's a long journey. Within the next 45 minutes, we may not be able to cover all aspects, but we have to start somewhere. So we have to start saying, what can we do as Stokvel members, as individuals or as groups to actually start our own businesses? What is it? What is it that we should do? How must we think? You know, our mindset. So as they say, first things first. The basics are like any other business. It starts with an idea. We started a Stokvel because we had an idea that we want to support one another in the event of death. The same principle should apply in terms of a business. The idea, it can be big, it can be small. You don't have to be overwhelmed about the fact that you don't have the greatest idea to start a business. I like quoting the late Mr. Richard Maponya, who started a business just selling clothes. We used to call it soft goods. And then he opened a dairy in Soweto, Dube. And as they say, the rest is history. We all know the stories coming Mr. Maponya, you know. So Stokvels have to start thinking that way. Start with a business idea, but that business idea must be solving a problem. It can't be a business idea for the sake of being a business idea. What problem are you solving within your community? The ladies who are selling tomatoes and potatoes by the side of the road, they are solving a problem, convenience, you know. So you need to ask yourself, what problem am I solving as a Stockfel member or as an individual? Start with an idea. It can be a small basic idea, but that idea should be actually solving a problem in your community. There are different ideas that we can explore as the Stokvel community, you know, and I know there are some buzzwords now lately, people are into property and all that, but let's look at farming, for example. I mean, farming is very broad. It could be animal farming, it could be vegetables. Why can't Stokvel start being suppliers of vegetables, fruit and vegetables in the nearest, in their community, you know, to the Pick and Pays, the ShopRites of this world? And of course, these businesses are under pressure. They have to tick box in terms of the scorecard. And we must actually get into that space and say, look, we are here, we are a community of Stokvels in this village. We want to actually be your suppliers. I'm just using farming as an example. It could be other services. But there's the other one that is very close to my heart. No, we as Black people, we spend a lot of time in what I call triple M. Kimikiti, kimafu, kimanyalo, imicimbi, imigiti, you know, all those things. You know, it's funerals, weddings, tombstone unveiling. There's a lot of money that circulates within that sector. But sadly enough, we still go and buy bulk groceries at these retail stores instead of actually starting to actually becoming our own suppliers, because most of the Stokvels are burial clubs, but they still go and actually support, you know, your big formal businesses out there. Of course, there are certain things that we may not be able to produce ourselves, you know, without making this evening spooky. Why can't we start manufacturing caskets and coffins, you know, because we are big into the funeral burial sector. So we have to look into manufacturing as Stokvels. One of the ideas, again, baking. It may sound as simple as baking. I'm not talking about baking 12 muffins here or 24 muffins. You know, if you as a Stockvel, you could start baking, you know, and supplying again the retail sector with scones and muffins. Who supplies the yummy muffins at Woolies? Why can't it be Stockfels? Who supplies Pick and Pay with scones and muffins? All these things that we buy. Stockvel mamas are renowned for being the best cooks, the best people who can bake. You know, in the township, people now buy 20-liter buckets of scones and muffins when there's a funeral or a wedding. That is great. So we need to start looking into other sectors of actually running a business. The other one is the service industry. Let me just quickly make a quick example about myself. In 1998, I started a marketing and promotions agency because I saw a gap in the market as a marketer, because marketing is my passion. I saw a gap that your major FMCG sector want to connect with Stockfel consumers. Then I started a marketing agency that takes brands into the Stockfel sector. And through that business, I managed to create jobs. I managed to build a business. I've actually served major brands like the P&G of this world, the Ariel washing powder. When it came into South Africa, we were one of the agencies that were actually marketing those brands. But it's not just only about marketing brands to the Stockfel sector. We're also saying, how can these women actually be a stronger stock spaza shop owners, selling more of those products, educate them, develop them to actually run their own businesses. So we have to look into the services sector. There's many other services. We live in the digital world. There's a young man called Tshepo Moloi. I love him to bits. Tshepo, 5-6 years ago, he started a Stockfel app called Stokvela, you know, to assist Stockfels in administering their Stockfels much better, to move away from the paper, shuffling papers around. So yeah, there's different business opportunities. Last but not least, it's your property Stockfel, property development. Oh, it is so fashionable. Everybody, I mean, property. This, of course, guys, I've got nothing against that because I also belong to 2 Stockfels that are into property. And property is in different sectors. You also make sure that you work with people who know what they're doing, who are experts. There's residential property, there's commercial property, there's retail, there's tourism. One of my Stockfels, we own a holiday home in one of the prestigious holiday resorts. So look into property in a much broader way, but work with experts. That having been said, you now have your idea, it's crystallized. Where do you get the money from? Imali. You have to look at the sources of funding. Let's start with Stockfels. I said earlier on, there's about 55 billion rands that circulates. Can't we tap into that money to start or grow our own businesses? I think we need to move away from this thing of being just consumers and short-term loan mashonisa as Stockfels. We must start using that money now to actually help even our own children. You know, some of our children want to go into businesses, but they can't access money from the formal banking system. So Stockfels should start being funders of startup business or growing their own businesses. Of course, we can't do away with the formal banking sector. Look into banks, get money from the banking system, and family and friends. The Jews and Muslims have done it very well over a number of years. We need to start saying, as family, as friends, how can we assist each other to actually build and grow our businesses? So money is very critical. And then the next component is people. Business is about people. What are the skill sets? You can't just wake up one day and say, hey, we are a Stockfel, we are now starting a business, we're going into property. What skill sets are there? What skills do you have? You need to actually look into people. You must also look into the fact that, are you going to remain in running or in the business for the next 10 years, or you will be on the business? You know, you need to actually at some stage disengage, so that when you are not there, the business continue running, which brings me back to what the systems and the processes of running your business, extremely important. We Black people, and I'm going to call it like it is, shortcut. Let's not take shortcuts. Let's have systems, let's have processes in terms of running our businesses. So that is the people skill sets that we need. We also need to actually consider labor laws. The more people that you employ in your business, labor laws are there, they are sitting there, CCMA, ayidlali bantu benkosi. So we need to respect all these components that make a business a business. And then the next one is financial management. I'm not going to be able to go through the whole financial management process, but one thing that I would like to share with you, cash flow. Almost all businesses survive by having a healthy cash flow. We've got this bad tendency. I've seen Stockfels where they're starting a business, like they do events, they call it fundraising. Then once the money lands, they start squabbling amongst themselves. They split and they fall apart. Instead of actually plowing back that money into growing the business. So you don't eat cash, turnover. You must actually use that money that you generate to grow your business and ensure that you always have a healthy cash flow. Of course, you need to work with credible financial experts. We are lucky at the Stokvel Academy. We've got Ukuku, Ukusidaki, who's the director and wealth manager at Wealth Creed. She's one of our panelists. We also have Usina Mabina, who's an actuary, a COO at Lina Insurance. You know, I'm very proud of these young women who've actually raised their hands and said they would like to help us and assist us, because remember, we don't have it all at the Stokvel Academy. We believe in collaborating in experts in different sectors. And then the next one is, as I indicated, systems and processes. Simple example, I'm told McDonald's has nothing to do with selling burgers. It is about the systems and processes. The same thing needs to happen to us, my fellow Stockfel community. When you start a business, ensure that you've got systems and processes in place so that your business can be sustainable. When you back off, someone can step in and run with the business. Unfortunately, most of our businesses, you know, they get born and then they die when we die. It shouldn't work like that. You know, your business must actually outlive you. That is why we talk about, you know, starting businesses that are going to create generational wealth for ourselves. Finally, last but not least, legal matters. Each and every business is governed by certain laws. If me and my Stockfel members, we feel that we've now discovered this amazing order that is going to take on sushi, a Hyde Park corner by the side of the road, forget it. You need to make sure that you apply, you know, to the authorities to run your little amazing order business in Hyde Park. There are bylaws. If that amazing quarter is going to be sold in Soweto, Pretoria, Mdantsane, whatever, the bylaws are different, because there's what we call stimulating economy without, of course, compromising quality. So respect bylaws. Another thing, IP. I spoke about ideas. Once you develop this amazing idea, make sure that it's protected. Trademark, for example, there are certain titles that fall under Stockfel that are trademarked that we never touch. Stokvel Academy. Stokvel Academy, don't take a chance and say you're going to have your own Stokvel Academy tomorrow. No, 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 that's not gonna fly. So you need to make sure that you trademark some of these ideas. Chicken licking, trademarked hot wings. We may sound as simple as all that, but someone tried to sell hot wings, they stop them on their tracks. So make sure that you trademark. And then another important legal factor is contracts. Don't go into any business deal with anyone without having some form of a contract. I know legal matters can be very costly, you know, approaching lawyers. By the time you walk out of the door, you are 20,000 rand poorer and all that. But anyway, so thank you guys. Those were just the bits of nudges that you need to consider as you embark on a journey of starting or growing your business as a Stockfel. Just to recap, it starts with an idea, solving a problem, people, skill sets within your Stockfel or you yourself, what skills do you have, financial management, your systems and processes, and of course, you know, the legalities, the law that governs your business. And if you can actually follow those steps, I can assure you that 10 years from now, we will be talking about Stokvels that are wealthy, Stokvels that are out of the poverty trap generation, because some Stokvels have given up with, oh, we were born in poverty. We come from the poor generation. At Stokvel Academy, we are killing that. That's it. Thank you very much, guys. Looking forward to engaging with you further. I can see the program director is on my toes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Stokvel Guru Busi. I think just to sum it up, for me, it was a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 basic foundational things that the Stokvel needs to take into consideration when they're wanting to tap into the entrepreneurial side of things. And also, of course, thank you for sharing the benefits of making such a decision as a Stokvel Membusi. I'd like to encourage you all once again is that if you have any questions, please do start typing them in the chat. Already we are paying attention to what's happening in the chat so that we can take note and have your questions answered towards the end of the webinar. So with that said as well, we've gotten an idea of the thinking and the mindset that we need to have as Stokvels going into business. We have with us today a Stokvel member. Her name is Mutlatsi Pule. She is a retired business executive, and she has been a member of a Stokvel for several years now. And we are going to be chatting to her on her journey on how being a part of the Stokvel has given her entrepreneurial opportunities as a retiree. So I'd love to hand over to you, Mutlatsi. Welcome. Thank you for joining us, and to Stokvel Guru, to you guys having your conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Siwelile, and good evening to the Stokvel Academy members. And thank you for affording me this opportunity to share with you my Stokvel journey. And I'm looking forward to be sharing with you, you know, what really went on and what did I do and what am I currently busy with. And I'm here to inspire some of you that it is possible to do something for as long as you are a Stokvel member, or you can do it on your own, but you know, it's better if you're doing it with other people. Thank you so much, Siwelile.
Thank you, Mutlatsi. Stokvel Guru, you can open up for questions that you have prepared for Mutlatsi.
Thanks, Mutlatsi, for joining us. And yeah, I'm looking forward to having a brief conversation with you about your journey as a Stokvel member and as an entrepreneur. When did you get involved in Stokvels as a member?
Thank you, Membusi. I started being a member of the Stockfel in 2012, and it's a very small membership. There's only 3 of us, and we are only focusing on residential property investment at this point in time. But we are not saying we will not look into the business investment properties. At the moment, we are busy with the residential investment properties.
Oh, thank you. Actually, then that makes me skip my second question, because I was going to ask you what type of a Stokvel. So yeah, you are in the property investment league. Can you just please share with us about 3 critical factors, challenges that we have encountered as this Stokvel that started in 2012? It's quite a long time. You must have seen it all.
Yes, thank you very much, Lucy. You know, otherwise it's going to take us the whole night if I have to list all the challenges that we faced as the Stokvel members on this residential property investment. But I think that the most important thing, and that is something that everyone will have to ask themselves, is what type of Stokvel do you really want to pursue? And that type of Stokvel should be something that is in line with your vision and your mission. You know, if, for example, you are a baker, perhaps you need to look into that, you know. And the other thing that is also crucially important is the startup investment that you will have to make to kickstart your Stokvel mission. You know, going into residential property investment, Stokvel is not easy because you need to have some cash so that you are able to make a deposit, or if the bank requires you to make a deposit on a bond, then you are able to do that. Now, the other issue, once you have secured that property, you now need to determine who's going to manage your rental property for you. And if you have more than 2 properties, ideally you should get a rental agent who knows your market and your area better, who will market your rental property and screen your potential tenants for you. Because I mean, it's not easy if you are just venturing into a new business opportunity and you just, you know, get into it without knowing the ins and out of it, because you might find that you are losing a lot of money trying to secure money or trying to save money by not getting an agent might actually cost you more. Now, the other thing is with the agents, for example, most agents that are doing property rentals, they have their own handyman because they know that these properties are going to need, they're going to need somebody to fix this and that every now and then. Like even in our own households, we want to fix this and that. Now, if you have that kind of agent, for example, you can, if your tenant has got a problem, they can easily call that agent, and that agent can call his handyman, and then you should have an agreement with the agent on how you're going to be paying him or her on the services that they are going to be rendering. So basically, you are not going to be in contact with the handyman. It's only the agent that's going to be in contact with the handyman. And the agent will invoice you and you agree on the payment terms. Now, the other challenge that we have, for example, it's tenants defaulting on monthly payment. You know, sometimes due to loss of job or some instances, life happens. I mean, we have had COVID pandemic in the past 2 years, and we were also not spared during that 2 years. We had instances where our properties were unoccupied due to loss of jobs of potential tenants. Now, the other challenge is having liquid cash to pay your dues when tenants default on payment or cancel the lease agreement because they have lost income, they've lost jobs. So you need to be able to pay your levies, your municipal services when they become due, and not just rely on the tenant's income so that you are able to pay your dues on monthly basis. I think let me stop there so that I don't go too long, Busi. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You've really mentioned a critical point, Motlati. I mean, maintenance, we tend to overlook that, and and paying your municipality dues. And so that's quite interesting. What are the success gains that you can share with us over the past, much as you know, there's life, there's highs and lows, as they call it. So what has been the success story?
I think the success, let's start with the location. I mean, if you watch the home channel, they like talking about location. If you have the right location and the right agent, then you are definitely sure of a passive income. Now, for example, in our case, we declare dividends every 12 months, but I don't know, for others, what is important is that you need to put away money so that you don't chow the money or the income that you are getting on monthly basis. You need to put it aside because you don't know when you're going to need it to do other things or to fix some of the broken things, or to, any other thing that is unexpected could happen. So with us, we declare dividends every 12 months. And because the money is a lump sum, you are able to do something substantial with it. Now, the other, success is that you can create generational wealth, because you're going to continue to earn passive income even when you have paid off the mortgage bond. The property will form part of your estate should you pass on. And the other success is that you are able to attract more investments because you can use your paid off properties as your collateral towards buying new properties. For example, I use my primary home, which is fully paid off, as my collateral. So I think the success is, the successes of joining a Stockfel are really many, but maybe we should just end it there. Thank you.
Just
Lucy.
a quick one. This Stockfel, your property Stockfel, has it helped you in any way to actually grow some of your businesses? Remember, we're saying here you should also look into a Stockfel as a source of funding to start or grow some of our businesses. Would you say in your case you've benefited from this Stockfel in terms of your other business ventures?
Absolutely. Actually, the Stockfel has motivated me to acquire more properties, but those properties, I do not own them with my Stockfel members. I've got two residential investment properties that are currently being occupied, and I used my dividends from my Stockfel to make a deposit on my rental properties. So the Stockfel has really helped me a lot, and I've also used some of the money to refurbish the rental properties that I bought. The one that I bought in November, for example, I used the December 2022 dividends to refurbish the kitchen because the kitchen was falling apart. I mean, opening cupboards, you just had to pull out, actually not even pull it out. You have to take it and put it aside. So I used the Stockfel money to refurbish the kitchen cupboards, and maybe even the MC can show you my properties that I'm currently renting. And at this current moment, I'm busy. I'm currently building my third residential property. Yes, I'm busy. It is actually under construction, as you can see on the picture there. I'm building 10 blocks of bachelor flats. And I used my dividends to get a loan to build this block of flats. But not only that, I think as a Stockfel, there are certain areas that you also need to look into. For example, when myself and my Stockfel members, we bought a piece of land in Hartbeespoort. I can't remember which year it was. And at that time, we bought that property piece of land for 335,000 rands. And we also realized that the levies, the monthly levies were just too high, and they're going to be chowing on our potential interest. So we looked at the market and we realized that the vacant land prices were going up. So we sold that piece of land, and we bought it for 335,000 rands, and we sold it after 18 months for 475,000 rands. So I think when you are looking into this property market, don't just say, I just want to buy, but when an opportunity presents itself for you to sell and go and buy another property. Thank you.
Wow. Motlatsi, this is just amazing. I'm telling you, just my eyeballs are about just to pop out of my face. It's amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this is a living testimony that shows what Stockfels can do, using your Stockfel as a source of funding. I think let's leave it at that. And thank you very much, Mutlatsi, for really sharing with us this amazing, amazing story. I'm looking forward to engaging with other Stockfels where we'll be listening and seeing real stories. This is not a talk show, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about real success matters in the Stockfel world and creating generational wealth. Thank you very much. Over to you, Siwelile.
Thank you, Lucy.
Wow, thank you so much, Mamtratsi, for joining us and sharing your story on how just being part of a Stockfel, a property Stockfel, has enabled you to, in your own personal capacity, to be a property investor and have such a growing portfolio of properties. Wishing you nothing but the best as you go about this next chapter. And that your current building will be ready in time, and that there aren't any delays, unnecessary delays. We see that there is one question that has come up on the chat for you, Mamtlatsi, is the one comment being that your story is so inspirational and motivational, and also, are you open for invitation to address women who want to venture into property business, Mamtlatsi?
Absolutely. I think it is important that we empower one another. So if an opportunity presents itself for me to empower other women, let us do that. Because all what we want is we want money to work for us. We don't want to work for the money. We want the money to work for us.
Yep. Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. And just as another question before I look at our guests' questions is, out of all the different types of businesses that you could have entered into as a Stockfel, why did you guys decide to go with property versus going into agriculture or tapping into your catering skills, if you have any? Why did you guys specifically choose this industry?
I think it is important to tap into your own strengths. I mean, I can't do farming. I know nothing about farming. I'm a township girl. So I looked into, for example, my financial skills and said, look, this is one environment where, for example, you need more financial knowledge. You need to know how to play around with your money. You know when to invest and disinvest. So that is why I chose this type of Stockfel. Thank you.
That is such wisdom on your part, playing to your strength. Really, I think that is a success. And also, I guess even not just your skills, but your passion as well. I guess if you're not passionate about cooking, why bother doing a business that's not, passionate, that you're not passionate about? Stockfel Guru, Busi, could you perhaps share on why you chose to go into the marketing industry and make that your business, and also focusing on Stockfels versus, plenty of other opportunities out there?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think my answer is similar to Motlatsi's, is that I was following my passion. I studied marketing. I've got an honors degree in marketing. And obviously, as I was trying to explore what is it that I can do in the marketing space, because it's quite broad, I'm just in love with Stockfels in my personal capacity. I joined, by the way, my first Stockfel in 1981. I became a Stockfel member. And since then, I mean, there's so many aspects of a Stockfel that have just always fascinated me. But I decided to turn my passion into a business. As they say, that if you're doing what you love, you'll never work a single day. So it was, out of passion. That's why I started a marketing and promotions agency focusing in Stockfels. And of course, I realized that there's lots of money to be made in that space.
Thank you. That makes absolute sense, Stokvel Guru Busi, for sharing that. I don't know, I'd like to open it up to our guests. Do any of you have any questions? I see nothing has been typed yet on the chat further. The contact details will be forwarded to you, to those who have requested Mamtlatsi's contact details. But do you have any questions? We still have a few minutes for your questions. And perhaps whilst you are gathering your thoughts on those questions, I'd like to remind you that we have this amazing book, The Young Entrepreneur's Playbook, Using Failure as a Shortcut to Success by Lindile Stokvels, and that is up for grabs. We've got 2 copies of those. So what you need to do in order to stand a chance to win yourself a copy of this book is to go to our website, stokvelacademy.co.za. It is a learning platform where we have a number of programs, short courses you can do to help you get you started on your Stockfel journey and your entrepreneurial journey. Our courses, they are for free. So go onto the website, register, be up to date to the different courses that we're offering. Also, you can follow us on our Facebook page. Like us and follow. That is the other requirement for you to stand a chance to win. And the last requirement is if you can go to our YouTube page, Stokvel Academy, subscribe there, follow us, set the alarm button so that you can be notified when we post new content on that page. And once you have done that, you will be in the running to win yourself a copy of this lovely book on getting yourself started as an entrepreneur. Yeah, that's basically it. The email addresses, I see some of you have been asking if my apologies for that. You have been requesting the email address. It will be forwarded to you. And also, if you take note, in the chat, we have put the links to all our different platforms, the website, Facebook, and YouTube, so you can access it there quickly and easily, so we can track and notify you if you are the winner of one of the 2 copies of the book. I don't know, it doesn't seem that anybody has any questions that they'd like to ask Stokvel Kurubusi or Mamutlatsi. Okay, I see one question has popped up there. This is from Silo Mutlatsi. I'm a property practitioner and by profession, and have recently registered a property Stockfel group company at the moment and working on a full-time basis. But you want to know, how do you go about engaging others, colleagues, to participate in residential and rental investment business opportunities? I'll open that up to Stockfel Guru to answer.
The question was not very clear to me, if I am correct.
I'll repeat it.
Okay, please do.
I'll repeat. The question in essence is, how does he go about, sorry, I just need to open it. How does he go about engaging others, his colleagues, to participate in the residential and rental investment business opportunity?
Okay, thank you. You know, one thing that I learned many years ago, there's what you call in business the fundraising roadshow. You need to go out there and create a platform to actually engage with the people that you want to talk to. So my advice is, 1, you can't be all over the show. He needs to identify a specific area and create even a platform like this, you know. Actually, I mean, the digital world has made life a bit easier for us. And also don't shy away from having someone in comms, communications, because that's another thing that we overlook. There's a reason why you've got people who specialize in communications, even big companies. If they want to communicate something, they want to engage with their consumers, with their target market, they get a communications company to assist them with that. So I know he may be a startup, he may not be having all the resources, but just look into within your budget, do what is easy. It could be a Facebook, use any platform that can at least attract the people that you want to engage. And of course, sell them a convincing story, a bankable story about them joining you. It must be convincing. Thank you.
Thank you, Stockfel Guru. Busi Mamklatsi, I think you also have some nuggets of wisdom on how to rally people around joining him on this mission.
Yes, thank you, Siwelile. I think one other thing is that we've got friends, we've got acquaintances, we've got colleagues, and very often when we sit around, let's not just sit around and listen to music, have nice drinks, have dinners and whatever. Talk about what is it that you're going to be, you want to do, for example, as a group. Let me just give you an example of how we started. We used to hang around a lot over the weekends. That is myself and my Stokvel members. And we asked ourselves, what is it that we need to do to make sure that, we can do something. I mean, we don't just talk about things that are happening around us. Let's talk about things that affect us. How can we create generational wealth? And we decided to, for example, we said, okay, I don't know how did this idea of property investment came about, but I remember I received an email where they were saying there's an auction elsewhere. And then I got interested, and then I responded to the link, and I also realized that you can actually buy property, depressed properties before they go on auction. So I think for startup, you need to get your acquaintances, your friends, your colleagues together, talk about what you want to start up. Something that you have passion on, and something that you can sustain. And once you have done that, obviously, when you go to the bank to ask for a loan, each one of you will have to put some deposit together. You open up a business account, and you are able to make a deposit on the property that you would like to buy. So I think this is something, perhaps it's something that the person who's asking can look into. Talk to whoever is around you, your colleagues, your friends, your family, anyone of those. Thank you.
Can I just quickly chat in there as well, Lile, just on that point? I think we also need to change a narrative, the conversations that we have as Stokvels, as friends, as families, even if we're not in a Stokvel meeting, what are we talking about? Is it building, is it developmental, is it taking us somewhere? I think that's why people have registered on this webinar. We need to be hungry for information. So let's make use of whatever time that we have to actually look for opportunities within those spaces. Thank you.
Thank you. That's very, very true. And I think one thing that perhaps you guys did not, or Mamklatsi did not make you aware of, has the Stokfel that she belongs to, there's only 3 members in the Stokfel. So it wasn't a whole thing of that she was looking to find 10 people who were going to buy into her vision. It took just finding two like-minded people like her, and they came into agreement. And like she said, they committed that, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're all 3 of us are committing, and therefore are going to hold ourselves liable to the bank when we go get this loan to get the money, so that they could invest in their first property. So it really wasn't such a big thing, that she was looking for 10 people. As Stokfel is is something as small as just 3 friends coming together and pulling together. You're already a group by those standards. One last question that we have from Kabelo Senelo was, what are some of the challenges either of you two have faced when you started your Stockfel, and how did you navigate this?
Let me take that one, MC. We had a challenge of, we had a challenge with the agent because we did, as I said, you need to identify the right agent that knows the area very well. And unfortunately, we fell into the hands of somebody who didn't screen the potential tenants. So I think the first year was a roller coaster for us, in that in some months we had to take money out of our pockets and make sure that we pay the bond, we pay the municipal levies, rates and taxes and so forth. So that is why we are actually making you guys aware that you need to make sure that you actually do a proper research. Don't fall into this trap that we fell into, where we appointed a wrong agent, but we soon realized that that wasn't a wrong agent. And the agent that we have been with has never failed us in the past 5 years.
Thank you, Mam Tlatsi, for that. Stockfel Guru, do you have your inputs on your story of challenges and how you overcame it with your Stockfels?
You mean in my personal Stockfel?
Yes.
Generally speaking, yes. I think it's a topic for another day, but yes, I belong to 2 Stockfels as a matter of interest. And one of the biggest problems in Stockfels, it's people who are not trustworthy. I'll use a township where there are lots of scallions in some of the Stockfels. So unfortunately, that does happen. So screening people that join your Stockfel or you choose to join, it is extremely important. We may all come across being very articulate business people and all that, but it's not always the case. So yes, the quality and the caliber of Stockfel members is extremely important. I think Mtlatsi can back me up. The reason why Stockfel has been successful is the caliber of the members that belong to that Stockfel. So my advice, please don't just hop into a Stockfel because you heard Mtlatsi saying, hey, my Stockfel is great. Check them out, do your own vetting, of your Stockfel members. That is very important. So for me, that has been one of the challenges I've had in one of the Stockfels. But on the overall, I think I've had a Stockfel that I can maybe next time, similar story like Mutlatsi, where we have been successful since 1998 when we bought that property. Up until today, we're still generating revenue out of the property from 1998 to date. Wow, you are muted. Unmute.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I'd like to say thank you, Stokvel Gurubusi and Mamutlatsi. I think with everything that you ladies have both shared today, it goes back to what you were talking about at the beginning, Stokvel Gurubusi, those 5 points you were making when a Stokvel is, in fact, I think it's not just when the Stokvel is wanting to become entrepreneurs, but even just starting your own Stockfels is being able to identify the right people in which you're going to be in partnership within your Stockfel or your business endeavor. Taking into consideration is how are you going to get the funding that you need to achieve the goal that you're trying to achieve. Having the clear idea of what is the objective of your Stockfel, the objective of the business you're wanting to start, you need to be very clear and certain about that. making sure that you have the correct skills that you need in order to manage and take care of your Stockfel and or your business, and understanding the legal parameters in which you need to work in to make your business or Stockfel a success. I think I've summed it up in a nutshell, what you guys have talked about, and I love that we were able to go deeper into the property Stockfel side of things. But like I said, why we did that is because we were speaking to Mamutlati, who tapped into her skills, her passion, and chose to go the property route. You, as our guests here, can go into any industry where you have the passion, the skills, and you are surrounded with people who have the like-minded thinking as you. So we want to thank you so much to each and every one of you for joining us. For those of you who have asked questions, we highly appreciate your participation. We'd like to remind you as well, go onto our Stockfel Academy website, stockfelacademy.co.za, register for our learning programs there, subscribe to our YouTube page, Stockfel Academy, follow us on Facebook, and you will stand a chance of winning a copy of this amazing book. We've got 2 of them up for grabs. You will be notified via email should you be the winner. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, and we look forward to hosting you again very soon in our forthcoming webinar. Good night.
Thank you to everyone for attending. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. Thank you. We really
Bye.
appreciate it. Bye.
Thank you.
We truly appreciate the wisdom. Serious.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We really appreciate this.